At agenda item 11B, AO 2736, unmanned serial vehicles, UAA, and drones. The public
Chair, I move to postpone this indefinitely.
Thank you, Mr.
Second,
Starr.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. There is no one in the queue. There's a motion on the floor to postpone this indefinitely. Please vote. Oops, I'm sorry. Somebody was in the queue, but I missed it. Who was in the queue just now? Ms. Domboski.
Yeah, I'd like to know why we're postponing it indefinitely.
I can speak to that. It's so gutted now that it really is only about a public nuisance, and that's such a finite definition of public nuisance. The regulatory agencies already protect our airspace against what Mr. Flynn's intentions were, and so you really have a law that is unenforceable and also overrides what the airspace regulations now are by the FAA. So, if you want to regulate toys and public nuisances, then let's go after those and do it a different way. Don't pretend that it's a UAV conversation. That's where he's got it packaged right now with one clause of enforcement. If you look at all the stuff that he's pulled out of there, it's a conversation that needs to start over, most likely by another body.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Croft?
Yeah, I just was trying to get in, and because of the voting situation, can't press my button. But
Okay.
may I speak?
Mr. Domboski, did you have anything else? Thank you. Mr. Croft?
Well, I actually, it's a rarity, but I think I agree with Mr. Starr and almost everything he said. But the problem is the sponsor of the bill is not here. I prefer to kill it with him present, and I think that's probably the right result, or dramatically alter it. I've had a lot of conversations, some with him and some with others, about making it more of just a straight nuisance bill, not this. If you're peeping Tom anytime, you know that should be prohibited, and not just this this use of this particular technology. And I agree that with the exception that was presented there, I'm not sure what it does anymore, given that you exempted out the requirement of if you have a federal license, it's out of this, and I think you, in most cases, have to have a federal license. So I'm not sure what it does, but I am uncomfortable doing this with the member who proposed it not present. I just don't think that's appropriate or courteous for us, and so I'd oppose doing this now.
Chair, I'll change my motion and I postpone it to April 18th.
Thank you.
Is there a second? 18th. Oh, April 18th is certification. It needs to be the 11th or either after. 11th or 25th. Okay, so the motion on the floor is postpone action until April 11th.
I'll
And so
second.
There's a second?
Second.
Croft? Okay, let's vote on postponing this until April 11th. Okay.
will not be here on April 11th. They have done.
He'll be here on the 11th. Yeah. Okay. We can vote. Okay. This item is postponed until the meeting of April 11th. We are now at agenda.
Good evening. I wanted to finish up speaking on the drone ordinance. I go by David Werner. And I
Can you spell your last name, please, for the record?
Verner.
Thank you.
And I also brought the citations. Last time, unfortunately, my printer ran out of ink, so I didn't have that ready when I came by last time. I'll make sure to hand these over to your clerk after I'm done. But one last thing I wanted to emphasize was Florida v. Riley, when it came to an issue with privacy. That case involved a police helicopter flying about 400 feet, looking down and saw a grow operation. They got a warrant for the grow operation, and the person tried to contest the charges saying the warrant was valid because they were seen from the air. Turns out the courts ruled, this was a Supreme Court case, went all the way up, says you don't have privacy when viewed from a public airspace. And since the FAA has opened up all airspace underneath 400 feet for UAS operations, the issue about privacy from being seen from above is sort of a moot point. And I want to emphasize, going back over to the United States v. Cosby, there is a little bit higher threshold of 89 feet above the controlling structures or property there, involving for a lawsuit if there's a repeat offenders kind of thing. So there is a bunch of federal courts and case laws and federal regulations that deal with the various issues when it comes to UAS operations. Unfortunately, it's not in an easy digest kind of thing all in one place. And I do recommend that if you wish to continue on or to revamp this entire bill, to have drones or UASs in mind, to come at this with all these in mind, and maybe possibly a better way would be modifying the trespass ordinance and have the UAS be considered an extension of part of the body and have a little bit of a more easier way of dealing with that, like having it over private property within so many feet of the structure, like below the roof, the eave of the roof or something like that, making it a lot clearer and easier to deal with if the police have to respond and there's some sort of evidence saying, hey, yeah, this was below the roof, right over my property kind of thing. Hey, we can do a trespass issue a warning before on that, and then later on or whatever, if the person repeats or continues to violate that, then you can charge them on the trespass issue. So that's all I have to say on that part.
Thank you.